One morning, the CEO of a major corporation walked into his luxurious office, ready to tackle another day of multi-million-dollar deals. But sitting on his polished mahogany desk was a single, handwritten envelope. It was different from the usual stack of typed reports and official documents. Curious, he picked it up. There was no return address, only his name written in a child's unsteady hand. He opened it, and the letter inside would change his life forever. It read, "Dear Mr. CEO, you might not know me, but you know my dad. He works for you. His name is John Smith, and he's a janitor in your building. My dad is my hero. He tells me that his job is to make sure your office is always clean and shiny so you can do your important work. He says you're a very powerful man who makes big decisions." The CEO leaned back in his chair, intrigued. He did know John, the quiet man who always had a friendly nod for everyone, who worked late into the night long after everyone else had gone home. He continued reading. "My dad says you have a really big family and that you always make time for them. He saw a picture on your desk. That's really cool. My dad tries to make time for me too, but he's always so tired when he comes home. He works 2 jobs just so we can have enough food and so I can have books for school. He leaves before I wake up and comes home after I'm asleep. Sometimes I only see him on Sundays, and even then he often has to work." The CEO felt a lump forming in his throat. He glanced at the framed photo on his desk, his wife and 3 smiling children on a yacht during their last vacation in the Caribbean, a vacation he had almost canceled for a business meeting. The letter went on, "My birthday is next week. I'm going to be 10. I told my dad that the only thing I want for my birthday is to spend a whole day with him. Just me and him. We could go to the park, maybe even fish at the lake like he used to when he was a kid." He looked really sad when I told him. He said he couldn't ask for a day off because it's a really busy time at work and he doesn't want to cause any trouble. "So, Mr. CEO," the boy's letter concluded, "I was wondering, since you're the boss, if you could give my dad a day off. It would be the best birthday present in the whole world. I know your work is important, but my dad is important to me. Please? From your friend, Tommy Smith." The CEO put the letter down, his hands trembling slightly. He looked around his vast, silent office. The gleaming floors, the spotless windows, the organized desk, all the work of John Smith, a man he barely acknowledged. For years he had been so focused on balance sheets, stock prices, and profit margins that he had forgotten about the people who made it all possible. The very people who were the lifeblood of his company. He had built an empire, but in the process, he had become blind to the smaller, more important kingdoms within it, the families of his employees. Tommy's simple, heartfelt plea was more powerful than any boardroom negotiation he had ever been in. It was a mirror reflecting a part of himself he didn't like, a man who valued profits over people. Without a moment's hesitation, the CEO picked up his phone. He didn't call a board member or a high-level executive. He called the head of human resources. "Find John Smith, one of our janitors," he said, his voice firm. "Tell him he's getting a promotion. I want him to be the new supervisor of the entire maintenance staff, with a significant raise. And effective immediately, tell him to take the next week off, fully paid. Tell him his son needs him." But the CEO didn't stop there. He hung up and walked out of his office, something he rarely did during the day. He went down to the first floor, found John Smith polishing the brass on the main doors, and walked right up to him. John looked up, startled and nervous to see the big boss standing before him. "John," the CEO said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I just read a letter from your son, Tommy." John's face went pale with worry. "I'm so sorry, sir. I don't know what he—" The CEO cut him off with a warm smile. "John, he's a great kid, and he's right. You are a hero. Not just to him, but to this company. You deserve to be with him. Go home, John. Go be a dad." "That's an order." Tears welled up in John's eyes as the CEO shook his hand. That day, the company's policies began to change. The CEO implemented new initiatives focused on employee well-being, better pay, and flexible work schedules. He started a scholarship fund for the children of employees. He began walking the halls, learning the names of the people who worked for him, hearing their stories. He learned that the true value of his company wasn't in its stock price, but in the loyalty and well-being of its people. A week later, another letter arrived on the CEO's desk. It was from Tommy again. Inside was a crayon drawing of two stick figures, a man and a boy, holding fishing rods by a lake. The sun was shining, and they both had huge smiles on their faces. The note simply said, "Thank you for giving me my dad back." It was the best birthday ever. The CEO framed that drawing and hung it on his wall, right next to the picture of his own family. It became his most prized possession. It was a constant reminder that at the end of the day, no matter how big your title or your office is, the most important job any of us have is to be there for the people we love. It's a lesson in humanity, a reminder that behind every employee is a family, a story, and a life that matters. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that inspires. We all have the power to make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of kindness. See you in the next video.